In this video, I'm going to feed the same prompt to both ChatGPT and Gemini, and we're going to see what results we think are the best. I'll be using the unpaid version of these tools so we can make sure this is accessible to everyone. I'm Laura Bean and this is Creative Little World. Okay, let's dive straight in. So I have ChatGPT 3.5 on the left here and Google's Gemini over here on the right. So I'm going to feed them both the same prompt. So I'm taking on the role of a recruitment agency. This is just for an example for this blog post. And I want to write a blog based on what's currently being heavily searched for. The process we're going to follow is that I'm asking ChatGPT and Gemini to give me some SEO optimized title ideas, give me an outline for the blog itself, and then we're going to write the blog. I've also given it a few more instructions. So I want the content to be written in British English, and you need to take the role of a recruitment expert. So the more you can give your AI to begin with, the more you're feeding it, the better the results. Okay, so then we want to get started with the first one. Give me some SEO title ideas for the blog. So let's get these on the go. Right, so Gemini has very quickly given me quite a lot here. So ChatGPT has now come out with some title ideas. So let's have a look at these both. So starting over here with Gemini. So it's given me quite a few different ideas. So it's got broken it down into focusing on job hunting itself, focusing on recruitment trends, and targeting specific industries, and a few bonus titles. It's then got at the bottom here, remember these are just examples, feel free to adapt, include relevant keywords. It's given me some guidance, and I think when we look over here at ChatGPT, Chat has just given us some title ideas. So I quite like the way that Gemini has expanded. It's given us quite a lot of ideas. It's broken it down into suggested sort of main headings, main sort of like the trends, the industries, and it's given some advice. So obviously what we want to do is make the blog the best we can, and the problem with using things like AI, if you're not experienced in these type of things, is you're not necessarily getting the best results because you might not be trained in what the end results should look like. So I do like the way that Gemini has offered some guidance here. Okay, so what I want to do now is basically ask it to move on to the second step, which is to give me the outline for the blog. Now I've chosen one of the titles that Gemini has given me. And what I'm going to do, although ChatGPT has given me different ideas, I want to feed it the same so we can really compare the two. So although Chat hasn't given me this idea, I think I'm just going to feed it the same thing and see what they both come out with. So now we're moving on to the outline for the blog. So both moving very quickly. I don't think a comparison of speed is a problem. They're both pretty fast moving. So ChatGPT, for a start, the outline for the blog. So it's telling me an introduction, what I should include in that. Then we're going to look at emerging industries and job roles. This is the second section, and it's given me a lot of ideas to include in that. So different industries and stuff. Skills and qualifications, remote work trends, impact of automation and AI, and a conclusion. So yeah, from first look, that looks pretty healthy. That looks like quite a interesting blog. It seems to tie in well with the title. So let's have a look over at Gemini. So again, it's broken it down to the introduction, and it goes into some detail of what I need to do, which is pretty much what ChatGPT did as well. So the body, it's got, let's see, key trends shaping the UK job market, the rise of the gig economy and remote work. So that's different. Skill gaps and growing demand for specific skills. So it has got sort of similarities here, so skills and qualifications, demographic shifts in aging workforce, lifelong learning, preparing for the future. So it has come up with some different ideas and some similar. One thing I've just noticed, although it's not writing it yet, it is slipped into US spelling. I don't know if we've got the same over here. I noticed that with AI. Yeah, same, there we go. So they're not particularly good at saying in British English, but we're gonna wait and see what the actual blog itself does before we jump too far down that line. Okay, and again, so Gemini has given us a bonus, consider including relevant statistics, infographics, case studies to enhance your blog. So do like that about Gemini. It is actually giving you some guidance and some help. I think that's really quite good. Okay, so then we move on to the final stage. I'm not going to give it any more than that. I'm just going to see what both of these come out with, because although you do need to go into quite a lot of detail if you really want this to churn out something special and personalized to your brand, you want tone of voice, that kind of thing. For this example, we are just testing it on these basics. So let's get them both started. And away they go. So, I mean, the speed that these things can churn out content, gosh, it is quite incredible. Let's see. So, on first look, ChatGPT. Now, in an ever-evolving landscape, if you've used chat at all recently, it does seem to start everything with this, an ever-evolving landscape. So I think that's the big thing with using AI for creating things. They use some quite familiar content over and over again. They're not very creative, which is why it's always good to have someone creative the other end. But yeah, in this case, again, you know, I've seen that pretty much on every blog I've seen it create. So anyway, let's move on. So it's gone through and given us quite a bit of content. It's quite a long blog. It's given us a fair bit. Always ends with in conclusion. Again, that's another AI thing, so definitely adjust that when you come to writing yours. But in terms of the amount of content, it's a fair amount considering we haven't asked it to break it down. This is in one piece. I would definitely want a blog post to be longer than this, so it's not long enough in my eyes. But usually if you want to do this, you want it to break it down and say that you'll prompt it to carry on again. So let's have a look at Gemini. In comparison, again, I do like the fact that it's got some bullet points. It's broken them down into quite small sections. So actually this is a really short blog. I don't think it's done a very good job in terms of length, but then I haven't given it any guidance on how long to make it. So let's suggest that, right, I'm going to set them off again because I want these to be longer. And I want to compare them once we've got a bit of length and structure to them. So again, it's come out pretty quickly. Right, so that's finished there. I'll keep doing that. Please continue. Remember to be polite to your AI. So get it to continue. Right, so ChatGPT has finished on there. So out of curiosity, I'm going to see actually how long these blog posts are. Okay, so I've just tested these with a word count. So ChatGPT has created 654 words, so it's below the word count we requested, and Gemini has written 1,200, just over 1,200 words, so it's actually gone above and beyond and listened to my request for that. So let's just take a look through these. I'm going to have a quick read through. You think amongst yourselves. Okay, so having had a look through these, my comparisons are, firstly, ChatGPT is definitely not very creative when it comes to writing blogs, and it does tend to use the same thing over and over again, and I think that's what makes AI content so easy to spot and is going to pull you down in the long run. So definitely have a bit of a creative flair at the end of your blogs, please. Go over them, add your own tone, put your own personality into it, make sure it's on brand, and just try and make it a little bit more, you know, human and less repetitive in that sense. In terms of Gemini, I think it did quite a good job of being a bit more creative with the way it spoke and the language it used, so that was quite good. In comparison, Gemini wrote much more, so it was about double the size. Obviously I had to prompt it, but that's okay. I was expecting to do that, and I said to both of them that they could, you know, carry on once I prompted them. I think Gemini is a bit more creative with things like at the end, it doesn't just end with conclusion, which ChatGPT does. I like the fact that it's got some bullet points, so it's a little bit more of a interesting read because it's broken up some of the formatting with bullets, whereas ChatGPT is very samey, it's the same format throughout. So Gemini definitely leads a bit more on the creativity side, I think. However, it did use some US spellings, which I asked it not to, whereas ChatGPT actually did stay in British English throughout, so ChatGPT won on that account. I think, as I said before, never just copy and paste your blogs. You need to personalize them, you need to make them on brand, you need to add your own input. I wouldn't normally do a blog post like this, but I just wanted to demonstrate the two different tools. But you can pull out quite a lot from here and then just adjust it, and it can really quicken up your process. So I think between the two of them, as I said, there's pros and cons to both. ChatGPT is a little less creative. I think it's very samey. I think you'd have to put a bit more work into the final product than you would with Gemini. Gemini seems to be a bit more creative, a little bit more of a flair. I really like the fact that throughout it gave us some suggestions and ideas on how to make our blog better, which I think is good because it should be guiding us, it should be helping us be better content creators and not just churning out AI content. So from this test, I am leaning more towards Gemini, despite the US spellings that it kept popping in there. But I'd love to know what you think. Have you used both tools? Which is your favourite? Please leave a comment below and let me know. And I'm going to continue playing with these, so I'll come back again with more videos and more helpful tools and advice for your freelance and small business. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.